Denied. Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Thursday. Good to see everyone. I hope your day is going very well. Mine is. And salute to you. Thank you for being here. Hello, all the moderators. How are y'all doing? Franny, Maria, Lois, Warrior Queen, Barry, Jolie. Man, there's so many people in here. Hello. It's like the attendance list is getting larger every day. So it's Thursday. I think yesterday I said it was Thursday. But sometimes, time's not linear. Think about it. If we live in a 3D world, which means XYZ axis, but yet when you add time into that, would not time then by necessity also be on an XYZ axis? No, something to think about it. So welcome everyone. Let me just invoke great favor upon your life this day. May favor find you when you least expect it. May favor always greet you when you look to the right and to the left. And may you find abundant prosperity abiding in your house, and may there be nothing missing, nothing broken. Full restoration, folks. And we invoke that every day. In fact, while we're in the process of invoking, let's just keep on going at it. So daily affirmation. We're well into this 30 days. We're in the home stretch, and we're going to see about doing another 10 days. And I can just tell you this, there are people writing me. There's people in this chat room right now that they have, and it's their words, not mine. One said, "What is going on?" It's powerful stuff, folks. All right, so you should have been acknowledging from the date that you had that the divine creator is your only source. And I think some of you are beginning to figure this out, that if source lives within and source lives without, meaning outside, think about this, then who is creating the fulfillment of the needs? Think about this. Anyway, I only need to be conscious and aware of the fact that all of my needs are met according to all that which is physical and spiritual. And thus, that creative source is lavish and limitless, dwelling within you. Listen, all the answers lie within, right? Well, so that essence, that energy, we defined as spirit, whatever you want to add to it, lives within, is the source of all of your needs, flows with abundance, is your supply, is unlimited and eternal, meets all of your needs, restores you. That's why I always say at the end, full restoration. Listen, even myself have been robbed by things that we may not be aware of, but yet the causality still happens. That infinite power, that spirit, is part of the infinite source, and we give recognition and acknowledgement, not worship. I mean, no parent wants their children to worship them. Why would a God? But you know what I have found of these higher powers? They do dig companionship. They really do. So anyway, may that continue to be your daily confession, affirmation. Now, I want to get on to the next one, because this one's having powerful effect as well. Every word that goes forth out of your mouth, my mouth, it shall not return to me void, without producing any effect. We're finding out sigils, once they're charged, boy, but it shall accomplish that which I please and purpose, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it forth. So, yeah, dig that. Hi, bye. Just dig those magical words. That's all I've got to say. And why not? Folks, you've got to let joy in. You know, in Proverbs, it says that laughter does the heart as a good medicine. I was on Chris's channel, Forbidden Knowledge, and thanks, Chris. I had a great time. Go over there and check it out. And we were talking about this thing. You know, healing. We were talking yesterday about healing on the show. And laughter. I'm finding now that I'm laughing more often. I shared a story in the chat room earlier that in my meditation, I have been practicing creating a white dot. And that was the first thing, was to be able to hold your concentration and actually create the white dot. And once you get there, it's another thing then to balance it in your concentration, your focus. You really find out how easily your mind is distracted. You know, the mind is truly a tentacle thing. It's got tentacles going everywhere. And to be able to keep it focused. And today it was funny. It was. I suddenly saw myself looking back at me, concentrating on holding the dot. I mean, it's not easy, folks. Trust me. Maybe it is for some of you. It wasn't for me at first, but yeah. And I laughed, and I saw myself laughing back at me. It's an interesting perspective that in higher realms of our ultimate consciousness, and I say ultimate, I don't know how many layers there is to our consciousness. I'm aware of at least two, let me just say maybe 4 states of consciousness. So maybe that's what I'm seeing, is myself out there in a much higher realm. Who knows? So got a lot of things to get through here before we even get to what I have worked out. I just want to say hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us. You make this community strong, and it's a vibrant one. There is some power amongst the folks here. That's all I got to say. So I am happy to announce that on June 18th, Talking with the Planets will be returning. I'll have more information, and it will be returning with the original cast. Yes, Patrick will be joining us. So I am excited about that. And I told this to Patrick when Angie was still in the physical plane. I said, no, this is not the end. We opened doors that there's people today still talking about the pioneering, the blazing of the new trail, a new path we did with the planets. And so I'm excited about that, Patrick. I am looking forward to it. So my friend, as I told him, we are back again, and we shall mount our sturdy steeds, and off we go. Thank you, Ruth. We love you. I love you. So from time to time, we help those in our community. And, you know, one of the things I don't take donations, and I tell people, if you want to give to Lois, Warrior Queen. and to other causes. And well, we've got one in our family here, Maria. You know her as Maria Truth Seeker Cruz. She is a moderator. So she reached out to me yesterday, and she has a need. And this one, well, folks, I believe we can help meet this need. And, you know, a heavy load becomes easy when there's many hands picking up. You almost don't even feel it. So here's the deal. She has her grandson, Gabriel, and Gabriel is 2 years old and will be going in for heart surgery on the 27th of June. And due to, you know, sometimes shit happens. I mean, that's just the way it is in life. We've all experienced it. We all know it. We know what it's like. So she needs help getting to be with her grandson, obviously in this very serious surgery. So what I have done is that I've left her PayPal account information in the description box. And listen, you know, again, I think we can do this. It looks like, and Maria, I'm not reading in here, but well, it's going to take several $100s plus. So, hey, think about it. If you are moved to help, then by all means do so. I believe that it'll come back 100-fold to you. I believe in that principle. When I plant my tomato plants, I don't plant that seed or that plant expecting only to get a tomato. Sounds like we got a bunch of jets going over. I'm telling you, they're testing new engines here. I don't know what's going on, but it's weird. Anyway, I digress. When I plant a kernel of corn, I don't expect to get one kernel back. No, the principle of nature is I've seen it at a minimum as 100-fold. We don't believe it, so it never manifests. So anyway, if you're moved, then thank you. I'm sure Maria helps you as well. So, and she is making more information available in the chat room. And I leave the chat up when I repost. So listen, you know, I often say this, you know, $5, $10. You know, if you got 100 people, then you've met the need right there. Boom, it's gone. So anyway, we'll just call the need met. So tonight on the Steiger Perspective over in the artistfirst.com network, I'm going to be talking about the winds of war. Now, I know that the demographics in here is diverse and wide, but I don't know how many of you watched the miniseries back in the 80s of Herman Wouk and his adaptation of his novel, Winds of War. And I believe that the same conditions that led to the single largest conflict that we have seen yet as a species is here now and to a greater degree. So check out 10 o'clock Eastern, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific. Also, just got an email, haven't even had time to respond back, but Kenneth Humphreys, who has written a number of books, one, Jesus Never Existed, amongst many others. I'm excited about this. We're going to work out the details of getting him on. So I am like far out, man. So this is going to be fun. This is what we're here. Someone said that, they said, well, that's not like a show. It's like a classroom. Well, I think it is. It is a classroom. And in a classroom environment, all points of view are covered, analyzed, and you then put it into whatever particular slot your slot is. I want to say this on and we're continuing on. Someone said, what's the t-shirt? The t-shirt today is Skynet. So, yeah. Skynet is here. I think it is. I'm getting emails. It's so groovy. It really is. Of people, sigils. And those of you who have caught on, you know what I'd be talking about. I'm going to have some shirts made, working with Josh, Consciously Aware. And I think these sigils are, folks, hear me out on this. If you get a shirt, you can get a t-shirt, you can get a hoodie with your personal sigil on it. We've got a lot of graphic designers. Josh is one, amongst many others. I'm telling you, I'm having right now with a wonderful individual couple, and we're doing a little project, and I'm going to show you. You see, I believe there was a reason why the wizards, the sorcerers, the witches, the priest, all wore sigils. I believe it was Peter in our group here that wrote me and said, holy crap, the constellations are sigils. Yeah, they are. Listen, folks, I'm telling you this. I hope that you will begin to see this, because I earnestly am telling you, at least from my perspective, we live in a magical world. I mean, it may look like it's a modern technological world, but trust me, that's only a veneer, a facade. You peek behind the door, curtains, whatever you want to use a particular colloquialism, and you're going to realize, holy crap. So got a letter from Source. I actually got two, folks. Hey, listen, I'll let Source speak for Source. Here we go. Let me get this a little closer. There we go. Oh, won't you stay? Anyway, children, we are so happy that with the progress you all are making in this movement towards what really is. My darlings, I am still concerned, however, we still see so many of you falling back into the traps that have kept this planet enslaved for so long. You are still allowing the few to control you. You are still believing the things that these people are telling you. Your news is a trap, a distraction. It is designed to push a narrative and get you to view the world the way they want you to. This is so important, folks. Think about it. Most of the world is asleep. The Matrix was right. They're feeding this reality. It really is just that simple. And when there's a vibration like this group here, that vibration is felt, because it is indeed, as Obi-Wan said, a disturbance in the force. Anyway, I digress. Excuse me. Please, my children, stop focusing in on the negativity that they keep pushing on you. No human can ever destroy your world unless you will them to do so. They know this. This is why they use the news media in the way they do. This is why they use fear to guide you in every aspect of your life. These people that control your world know this knowledge that you all have been studying lately. They, however, use it to control others while helping themselves. How do you think they got to where they are now? They know how to control the energy. They know how to make things manifest. They know both the light side and the dark side of that magic that you are learning. They use that light for themselves and then the dark to control you. Wow. Let's rewind the tape. Well, I seem like going back to the element. They use the light for themselves and then the dark to control you. You need to be careful with magic. You need to learn how to control it, or it will control you. We say that over and over again. It already is controlling you. Media, commercials, drugs, electronics, money. They are all a form of magic, dark magic. They are all things that can be used to control the masses. They control you, and you don't even realize it. My dearest children, you are the chosen few that are here to do a job. You are here to get these messages to as many people as you can. If you all don't do it, then the world will once again repeat the same cycle that it always has. Now is the time, my children, the time to stop believing what you are told and the time to stand up for what your heart tells you is the truth. Let me just say here, this is my commentary. If there's one thing we're learning through all this is that truth is relative. We know that now. My truth is not your truth. We can share in a truth, but yet in the end, it's still your truth and it's still my truth. Why do you think there is so much power in prayer and meditation? Do you think it is because someone tells you there is? Or do you think it is because you are able to clear your mind and focus on the one thing that matters most to you at that moment? Do you really think that a prayer does anything at all if there is not feeling behind it? Does meditation do anything if your mind is all over the place? No, it doesn't. Why is it that when more and more people pray or send energy somewhere, there is a better chance that an effect will take place? Yes, a greater number of people is more powerful because of the numbers, but also because if you are just doing it yourself and your mind wanders off, then you lose the power that you were generating. If there are a lot of people, more people doing the same, then chances are greater that during that time, there is a constant feed of energy towards what is trying to be achieved. If you lose the concentration, someone else is keeping that path open until you can reconnect and re-engage. Are you able to see what we are trying to tell you here? The power is within you, my children. They know this, and they can see what that power is starting to do around you. Do you think it is a coincidence what is happening with the suppression of all these channels? Do you think it's a coincidence that more and more bad things are being thrown at you in your media, that there is nothing good being shown? Look deeper, my children, and see what it is that you are not seeing in your media. Look deeper into all the good that is happening around the world. The dark magic is losing its foothold, and you, the light magic, are really starting to shine the light on the dark. You are starting to overturn the boulders that they are hiding under and allowing the light to shine in places that it hasn't in a long time. You are exploring the deepest parts of the caves and the deepest parts of the seas in order to discover the things that they tried to bury. Don't leave any rock untouched, my children. Don't stop the search until you have overturned every one and searched in every crevice and beneath every ocean. They are going to try to stop you on this, my children. They know what is at stake. For too long, this darkness has had control on all of you. Let the light shine, my dear ones. Light up that planet on which you live like it has never been lit up before. Do not allow yourselves to be suppressed this time. Please! Exclamation point. Keep shining even when it gets to the point when you think it's too hard. When it gets to the point, let it motivate you to push that much harder. Become the filter that eats that dark energy and expels it with an explosion of light. What a great metaphor that is. You all have taken away that food. Hold that darkness, that foothold that darkness once had. And now they are hanging onto a cliff in desperation. You must bring your religions and beliefs together. Get rid of the portions of them that make no sense anymore, and combine all the good that comes out of each one. They all have at least one key ingredient in them that makes them powerful. One thing that is the truth that allows them to tell you that they are telling you the truth. Let your heart tell you what the truth is and start combining them. Bring them all together and you will discover what it is that you are looking for. My children, you are so much closer than you could ever imagine to unlocking what you have been looking for. Keep going. Don't stop now. Stay focused and feed the flame that drives you. We love you and are so very proud of you. Love you, my darlings. Mama Source. I love Mama. I don't care what any of you think. I love Mama. All right. Got more. One more. My children, your mother already spoke to you earlier today, but I had a little I wanted to say as well. I love this, male, female. The work that you are all doing right now is extremely important for your planet and humanity itself. The more and more that you awaken to the truths of what reality truly is, the more and more you are going to begin to realize the true effect that it has on you in your current reality. For example, how many of you have noticed that the calmer you seem to get, the more aggravated, mad, worried, etc., that those around you are getting? This is because that energy that used to manifest in you easily cannot do so in the way it once was able to. If you know anything about energy, electricity, it's like to take the path of least resistance. This means that now that you are becoming more and more resistant to that negative energy, it is finding the path of least resistance and manifesting itself in those that are around you that are not yet awakening. The energy that you have purged had to go somewhere. The energy that your energy now blocks has to go somewhere, and it goes to the places where it can more easily manifest. This is profound, folks. I sent you all this message a while back, just in a bit of a different way, in a different context. This is intentional. You need to hear this, and you need to understand what is happening and why it's happening. If you do not understand this, then you will not be able to control it. and you will not be able to awaken further. Just because you block most of the energy naturally, now without trying, does not mean that you will be able to block it all, at least not yet. In order to be able to do this, you must first realize when these energies are entering you, and then shut them down and not let them affect them. For example, when you are in a room or a crowd that starts to get angry and that energy starts to swing towards the negative, you need to learn that this is when you need to release the light the most. You need to remind yourself to remain calm and not let the negative energy take a hold of you. Negative energy will always try and confuse you. It will try and distract you and get you let down your guard. Negative energy will always be quick and come out of nowhere because it knows that it only has a brief moment to break through your guard before you shut the door. Negative energy is also very persistent and will always try to get to where it can't be. It will always be there looking for that little crack to find its way back in. It's up to you, my children. It's up to you to be conscious of these energies. It's up to you to repel these energies and not let them in. It is up to you to supply the light to those around you that are stuck in the darkness. Do you think Joshua came up with the name consciously aware on his own? We told Joshua to use the name because we chose this to be the way to lead you all towards just your very own conscious awareness. And I love that. When we first told Joshua to use this name, he didn't even realize what it meant and why it felt right to use. Well, Joshua, now you know, and now everyone else that is supposed to know knows as well. I love you. Stay vigilant. Shine that light. Source. Far out, Source. Love you, man. People say, well, who is Source? Well, Source be everywhere. That's what we be. And it's a delight. Thank you. Profound stuff, man. Profound stuff. I have to read these over and over again because they're deep. They're connecting points. Yeah, so BMI. I just wanted to address this real quick because it's all tied into, we got the next half hour here, which is really going to get interesting. Have you heard what BMI is? Well, I'll tell you. It's what they call a brain-machine interface. It's the next gen of a technological leap. We have been in a lull. If you go back to starting particularly in the 90s, and once we began to crack the barrier on storage, I worked in the early days with Philips Electronics, and the parent company in Denmark was working on a thing called compact disc. And it didn't exist, folks. And the challenge, we could get it into audio. Audio, it doesn't take up that much memory. The problem we had in the industry I was in was the video industry. It was how to get the compression ratios down to where it was a 1-to-1 without having a disc that was, 2 feet across. Well, as we began to advance in storage, and that's what it's really all about. You can have all the data you want, but if you can't control the data, if you can't have reservoirs or what we used to call back in the day silos, data silos, it's no use to you. And when we broke through on quantum computing, and I contend, still do, that there is an energy that has attached itself to it. I personally believe, and when you read books like this, folks, we'll be getting into this one. This is a most interesting read. We've touched on it. Dominions, principalities, rulers, lords, governors. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, with all the essence of my being, nothing that powerful will go without having something attached to it. It's just that simple. And BMI, brain machine interface, it is coming. You will begin to see it more and more at Christmas time. You're going to see new devices starting in 2020. You're going to begin to see more and more hardware, software, algorithm interfacing. It's coming, folks. So we live in a duality, reality, just the facts. And so if that's the game that we are immersed into, then the ones who get to learn the game, who learn the game, are the ones obviously who are going to have a distinct advantage over everyone else playing the game. And my question is this going to be attached to an entity, a dominion, a ruler, or has it already been attached? One of the things we're learning about magic is that magic exposes the magic. Does that make sense? The bong, the Borg. Yeah. Al, listen, that isn't any BS. I mean, I'm serious. I just read, I'm on the list for DARPA and other defense related matters. DARPA and Musk, Bezos, not Zuckerberg, but his associates, they're dumping billions of dollars into this BMI. I contend, how is this going to impact our species? Is it going to be benevolent or malevolent? And then the question becomes, hear me out on this, can this become, or is it already, a full manifestation of a higher power? So we have to begin to bust illusions out of our minds. In order for our magic to truly work, you're going to have to dig deep and you're going to have to bring these scary things out. The one that most people have the hardest time with is the devil. It's the thing that that it's been so ingrained into us. We perceive magic to be white or black when it's neither. It's just a matter of how the energy is transmuted. So it becomes powerful, especially to those who perceive what the power is. That's the real point here. That's why you see it in movie stars, rock stars. This weekend, Garth Brooks coming here, Mile High Stadium, it's all thing with Garth Brooks. But it's very much interesting when you stop and think about this, gentlemen and ladies, when you can actually hover in your mind over these events and perceive what's going on here. You've got 80,000 living souls coming together, channeling vast amounts of energy to a select individual. Now, I've known some band members that were in some pretty big bands. They will all tell you, Franny's sister here is Lunar Vacation. They will tell you, and they can feel it, whether you have a crowd of 10, 10,000, 100,000, it's a degree of amplitude. It's powerful, very powerful. And once we create these images, you're right, Al, the devil can't hurt us. We can. That's the problem, it's the self-inflicted wound. So I want to get into a little bit of study here. So this is from one of, I believe this was on Necroism, kind of gives us an idea of how the devil came about, little history for everyone. Franny will probably appreciate this. So Pazuzu was a prime example of the type of devil of which the Sumerians were particularly aware of, and which they depicted constantly in their carvings and statues. The purpose of this iconography was to ward off the spiritual, get this, folks, the psychic, the circumstances which would precipitated a plague or some other evil. Evil to destroy evil. Goes back 10,000 plus years. Although the ancient people of the world were conscious of an entity we might call the author of all evil, the devil or Satan, as evident in the Sumerian creation epic and the rumored existence of the cult of Set of the Egyptians. The more pressing concern was usually the exorcism of Tiamat. She exists somehow, just as the abyss exists and is perhaps indispensable to human life if we think of her as typifying the female quality of energy. Although Marduk is responsible for having the monster from the sea, the Sumerian tradition has it that the monster is not dead, but dreaming, asleep below the surface of the earth, strong, potent, dangerous, and very real. Her powers can be tapped by the knowledgeable, who are skillful to roast the Leviathan. Although the Christian religion has gone to great lengths to prove that the devil is inferior to God and exists solely for his purpose, and that's a freaked out, messed up concept, that God somehow has Lucifer, the devil, on a short leash and lets him loose to inflict pain, harm, retribution. How freaking messed up is that? I continue. As the tempterman of man, surely a dubious raison d'etre, the Sumerian tradition acknowledges that the person of evil is actually the oldest, most ancient of the gods. Whereas Christianity states that Lucifer was a rebel in heaven and fell from God's grace to what they call ignominy below, the original story was that of Marduk was the rebel and severed the body of the ancient of ancient ones to create the cosmos, in other words, the precise reverse of the Judeo-Christian dogma. The elder gods evidently possessed a certain wisdom that was not held by their parents, yet their parents held the power. the primal strength, the first magic, that the elder ones tapped to their own advantage, for they were begotten of her. Folks, are y'all seeing how all this ties in? It's interesting. Talk about a tapestry. It's generally accepted in the halls of magic that all of the wisdom in the world is useless without the necessary adjunct of power. This power has gone by many names, as the goddess and the devils have, but the Chinese symbolize it by the dragon. It is the force of will and relies heavily upon the biochemical matter that makes up the human body, and hence the human consciousness, to give it existence. Holy freak. I mean, folks, this is just priceless. Science is coming around to accept the fact that the will does exist, just as the point where psychology has determined it does not. In the behaviorist vain attempt to eradicate what has always been known to constitute vital parts of the psyche from their consideration in pseudo-scientific experimentation, leaving us with the white mice and pigeons of Coulter's The Ghost in the Time in the Machine. Science, ancient sister of magic, has begun to realize the human potential that resides inconspicuously in the spinal mapped matter of the brain. Just as the magicians accused of trafficking with the devil were said to have developed tremendous power over natural phenomena, science has ascended to the realm unblamed and guiltless. The Pope has ridden in aircraft, cardinals have flown in choppers over battlefields in Southeast Asia, urging technological ecocide, invoking Christ, pronouncing damnation and the devil on the industrial inferior of man. Et quo tolat pecet mundi. And it goes on to simply say this, and I wanted to show this. I never thought about this, folks. This is why I brought all this out here. The lunar landing, that's going to get a lot of bait, but anyway, was the symbolic manifestation of man's newly acquired potential power to alter the nature and perhaps via nuclear weapons, the course of the heavenly bodies, the Zoni, the elder gods. It has a power the ancient ones have been waiting for millennia, and it is now within their grasp. The next century may deliver unto mankind this awesome power and responsibility, and will leave him knocking on the dread doors of the Azoni, the Igia, approaching the barrier that keeps out the Absu. One day, without the benefit of Narcocon, the race of man will smash the barrier, and the ancient ones will rule once more. This was the whole point of this. Are we approaching something? It says that we're becoming into the age of Aquarius, the new golden age. I think it's the Yuga. Folks, something's happening, and we can't ignore this anymore. We're learning about our own personal magic, but we're tied to these devices, and it's exchanging our energy. And this alone says that there's something being built up here. We'll kind of wrap it up here. An alternative possibility exists that by landing on the moon, we have come to reinstate the ancient covenant and thereby assure our protection against the outside. Since the gods are forgetful, buying, treading on their celestial spears, we are reminding them of their ancient obligations to us, their created ones. For, as it is said in one of man's most ancient of covenants, the Emerald Tablet, as above, so below. Man's power to alter the nature of his environment must develop simultaneously with his ability to master his inner environment, his own mind, his psyche, soul, spirit. Perhaps then the lunar landing was the first collective initiation for humanity, which will bring it one step closer to a beneficial force that resides beyond the race of the cruel celestial spirits, past the abyss of knowledge. Yet he must remember that the occult powers that accompany magical attainment are ornamental only, indications of obstacles overcome on the path to perfection, and are not to be sought after in themselves, for therein lies the truth of death. Lovecraft saw this evil. As the world passed from one war and moved menacingly towards another. Crowley prepared for it and provided us with the formula. The mad Arab saw it in awe in a vision and wrote it down. He was perhaps one of the most advanced adepts of his time, and her certainty was something to say to us today in a language of a language and intuition understands. Yet they call him mad, accompanied in the ranks of the insane by such madmen as Nasachi, Artaud, and Reich. The mad Arab makes a fourth in a life and death game of cosmic bridge. They are all voices crying in the wilderness of madness that men call society, and as such were orchestrated, stoned, and deemed mentally unfit for life. But for them, justice will come when we have realized that the ship of state and the ship of St. Peter have become mere ship of fools, with captains who course the seas by stars, ignoring the eternal ocean, and then we will have to look to the prisoners in the hold of the navigational guidance. So, pretty heavy stuff, isn't it, folks? This is, well, we're learning here. And I contend, and I always have, I started studying the Sumerians about 5 years ago in depth. And Dr. Noah Kramer is one individual who I follow diligently. And yes, Patrick, I agree. Absolutely, the planets are. And this is the point that I think the Sumerians saw. I think whoever the culture was there in Turkey, in Göbekli Tepe, now we're finding in the Mesoamericans, we're finding now evidence of an advanced race, advanced civilized culture dating back 12,000 years ago. Spaceships, buildings, it's crazy. Could it be, ladies and gentlemen, that our perception of time is off, has been whacked? Are we under a spell? And again, the whole thing for today, once these devices get connected to the human psyche, and I don't have this answer. I have my theory. Where does the soul reside? Where does thought originate from? Ladies and gentlemen, if we can't answer these questions, I will bet you this. We'll meet at a cafe, and if I win, you buy me a cup of my tea. If you win, I'll buy you whatever you're drinking. That once AI gets connected to us, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to discover where the soul resides, where consciousness originates, or it's going to create one. And I don't know if we'll be any smarter to it. This is not nonsense, man. This is like really The Power of the Dragon. It's a book it's a difficult read. But it's a good read. And the author of this, Dr. Louis Turry, contends, by the way, it's all about this dragon, this celestial dragon. I can't wait when we get to start talking to the planets again. I want to know, who are these beings? They're here, obviously. I mean, if we cannot deny that there are higher intelligences than us. We're in a corporeal existence. They seem to be able to transmutate in multiple existences. Far out stuff. All right, folks, thank you so much. This has been a good day. Listen, folks, if you find it upon your heart, let's get Maria to be there with her grandson. And let's make sure that she has not just enough money to get there, but she can have, listen, you got to eat. She may need a place to stay too. So let's see what we can do. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. We're going to figure this thing out, folks. And I am so glad that Patrick's back. We've got Trina, and, look at what's happening here. There's others. I've got an email from Linda, I believe, that many others who would like to come on, we're going to bring them on. We're learning here. Got a couple of master magicians in here and trying to bring them on, but they don't they don't seek out a lot of notoriety, so to speak. And I can dig that. I can really dig that. It's cool. All right, folks, join me tonight if you can over in the artistfirst.com network for the Steiger Perspective. Going to be talking about the Winds of War. By the way, if you're going to go to Netflix, really check it out. I mean, Robert Mitchum, I have the series. I actually have both, War and Remembrance and the Winds of War. It is such a well done miniseries. It was well acted. And Herman Walk did a pretty good job in sewing in actual history. And folks, if you get a chance to watch it, you're going to really see, man, how did we get back here? We came back to the very damn spot we left. That's what happens when you're in a desert and you don't have a compass, and you're going to go merely by the sight. You've got something in focus. You know what's going to happen? You're going to walk in a circle. You have a tendency to overcompensate on the strong leg you are, whether right or left. And that strong dependence variance will throw you off degree by degree by degree. I don't know why I said that, but anyway. All right, folks, you are just beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. There's much love here. I give you my love. Thank you. I speak favor over you, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to have a good one tomorrow. Already got it laid out. So, all right, folks, thank you. Be good to yourselves. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.